Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Sarcasm Speaks, and we are Jared and Bob. So I saw something the other day. Obviously, I didn't pull it up because why would I? Um, that the Just Stop Oil people, like the fucking idiots that throw orange paint on dumb like all over football fields, and they threw a can of soup on like the Mona Lisa or whatever. Like they just vandalize shit all
Yeah,
the time.
fuck up golf courses too.
Yeah, they fuck up golf courses and they just do dumb shit, right? Like, that's their whole thing. Um so I saw the other day they made an announcement that said they're gonna stop doing all that. So I'm paraphrasing, but the announcement was basically like, yeah, we've decided as an organization that we're just not going to do this anymore. But we're still going to fight in the court system and through the law system. And when people were trying to figure out like why they were doing this, they said that they felt they had enacted enough change in the UK government that they didn't need to do this vandalism stuff anymore. Um, I'm not super familiar with the politics of the United Kingdom, but I don't think anything specifically has changed recently. Like, I don't know what, if anything, has changed to actually motivate this. And then I saw the whole reason I saw this was someone put it on Twitter, and then they quote tweeted it. So I saw the original post, right? So it was like about that whole thing. And the person that quote tweeted it goes, yeah, isn't it odd that Trump shuts down USAID and then 3 weeks later, Just Stop Oil says they're not going to do their protests anymore? Like, I wonder what happened to their funding. And I was like, oh shit. Like, that's a really funny connection. Like, that's one of those things that like you just kind of don't notice until something like that happens, right? They shut off the spigot, and then you start to see all of these dry spots that you didn't realize were being fed by that spigot. You just thought that they were just wet because shit gets wet from time to time, right? Um, so yeah, it's there's no definitive proof, right? There's really no way for us to prove this. Some investigative journalist or a whistleblower would have to come out, but on the surface, it appears as if the Just Stop Oil fucking morons were um, financially supported by USAID.
I'm just good that they're stopping. Like
Yeah.
I've never understood, like especially like your group is Just Stop Oil and you vandalize like a golf course in Long Island.
Yeah.
Like I get it. People notice and it makes the news, but how does that get you any closer to what you want?
Right. And especially a group like that that does stuff like that that makes zero sense. Again, right? Like throwing a can of tomato soup at the Mona Lisa, destroying a golf course in Long Island, right? Dropping orange paint all over a golf course in Scotland.
Didn't they
Uh,
run onto the um at the Travelers too?
yeah, I think it
They
was the
stopped playing at the
Travelers, true.
Travelers.
Yeah, they stopped playing at the Travelers too. But was it the Open last year or was it the Scottish Open where they caused a stoppage because they had their like orange spray paint everywhere?
I don't remember.
It was somewhere, it was either the Open or the Scottish Open, that time. But the group that does that, right? Again, like they fucking super glue their hands to the highway, right? To stop traffic and stuff like that. Like the people that do that don't just decide to stop, right? Because again, it doesn't make sense what you're doing. So you're just doing it to create chaos. So if you're just doing it to create chaos, You don't just be like, ah, you know what? We're just going to stop. We're just going to stop being chaos. It's that's what again what leads me to believe that they actually were being funded by USAID because that would pretty quickly put an end to that if all their money just disappears, right? It's like, oh, well, yeah, now they're not going to do any of that anymore.
Well, so I think there's a lesson here, right? Because one thing we always say is like when something doesn't make sense, just follow the money.
Yeah, for sure.
We didn't ask that with this stuff.
Yeah, we didn't. So it's a shame
Like
on us, I
where's
guess.
the money? Like I don't know if there's anything else weird going on, right? But especially like Americans are very fucking lazy. They're easily outraged, but they
Mhm.
don't do anything about it.
Right.
So when people are doing something about something and their actions don't necessarily match the goal or the mission, whatever, we should probably ask, how is money affecting the situation?
Right. Right. Yeah.
Because if it's say it's don't stop oil and they picket outside fucking the Exxon Mobil headquarters, which I'm making shit up. That could be
Right.
in fucking anywhere.
Yeah. I think it's in Houston.
Dumb, but tracks.
Yeah. Yeah. If
When
you're protesting for an organization called Just Stop Oil, wouldn't you think picketing outside of ExxonMobil is probably a good place to go?
Well, especially if you're an environmental thing and you ruin the environment that's around you.
Yeah. The only one of those dumb things that they did that actually could potentially make any sense because it is somewhat relevant to their cause is gluing their hands to the highway, right? Because you could make the argument very clearly, right, that cars use oil, right, for the engine, but then also gasoline isn't, related to oil or byproduct. I don't know how it works, but I know gas comes from oil. Like, okay, again, really fucking dumb. I wouldn't advise super gluing your hands to asphalt. Um, but that one at least is in the same ballpark as like what you're trying to do. Like destroying a golf course in Long Island, just how is that related to oil, right? Like, what did the Mona Lisa do? Like, it was painted with oil paints. Like, is that why you're upset? Because they used oil-based paint to paint it back in like 1452?
No, they use the transitive property and they try to say that it's like, well, the Mona Lisa represents like the rich and the rich are taking their private jets, around the country to do whatever they do or around the world to do whatever they do and that's bad.
Yeah,
It's like, what?
yeah, yeah. Huh?
You think that the people that golf on this Long Island golf course, I forget which one it was. I don't know if it was Sabonic or what, but you think that there's enough rich people taking enough private jets that this makes a difference?
Yeah,
No.
yeah,
Sorry. No, it doesn't.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
do you
They
think there's
threw
enough
paint
rich people aren't
all
going to
over
see the
something
Mona
either.
Lisa? Where is that at the Louvre or whatever the fuck in
Yeah,
France?
yeah. It's in the
What a
Louvre.
horrible place for a fucking great Italian painting. Um, what a fucking bad place for that. You think rich people are going to the fucking Louvre?
No, no.
It's regular people.
Yeah, Taurus.
It's tourists. It's regular people that go to fucking Paris.
Yeah, yeah.
It's in Paris, right?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, I know it's in fucking that god awful country, but
Yeah. The god awful city in that god awful country just stinks. But yeah, yeah, that's a really good point. Like you said, we never were like, oh, where's the money coming from for
yeah,
this?
where's the
Like,
money on
follow the
that one?
money. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, they're all done. Because again,
Pulling out for the homies.
I thought it was funny too that they were like, we'll continue our fight using the court system and the legal system. And it's like, oh, you guys just don't have any money left.
Yeah, and no, you won't.
Yeah, and no, you won't. Like, could you make it any more obvious, like what was going on now, right? And again, hindsight's 2020, but it's just, yeah, thought that's a good one. That was a good one.
Well, that's the other piece is like shame on any of these. Like, if you see a group doing like extreme shit that doesn't track, it's really shame on you for not or for like thinking that they were about that.
Right.
Because that was the thing is like I never understood half the shit. So I'm like, I'm just not going to give you the time of day because I don't care.
Hmm.
But I don't
Well,
know.
it's
I
like,
think vandalism. Vandalism sucks, dude.
well, that's
Like,
like the whole Tesla thing that's going on right now. People are like intentionally like fucking with Teslas, and it's like, you guys, again, you just don't get it, do you? Like, this is the company that was in effectively the pioneer of electric vehicles. I know it wasn't technically the first one, but it was the biggest one, right? It became the biggest one and the most successful. But because the CEO or the founder is a guy that you don't like because you don't agree with his politics, that gives you the right to go around and vandalize these cars for some person that decided to purchase them, right? Like, how absurd is that? Like, okay, cool. So you know what? I'm just gonna go walk around and I'm gonna start slashing tires and keying every Honda and Toyota that I see. Oh, why? Why would you do that? Well, Japan bombed us in Pearl Harbor, and I really don't like that. And those cars are made in Japan, so it justifies me destroying these cars because Japan, killed thousands of people in our country. They attacked us. Like, isn't that the same logic? Like, someone out there is probably like, "Wow, that's really fucking dumb." It's like, yeah, so is the Tesla stuff.
I was gonna say it can't be the same logic because I think logic requires um like
An
somewhere in
IQ
the
above
definition of
85.
logic, it would require. So it's hard. It's hard to describe logic without using the word logic. But like logic would require some type of sequential thought, actions, events that lead to something
Yeah,
in a way. So there is no logic because anyone that like keys a car or whatever, they're only affecting a citizen,
right.
not Elon Musk. The car's already been bought.
Correct. The other thing too that I saw someone posted and they go, these people are fucking morons because now who do you think is going to pay for that? Right. So they say, I saw someone posted like a big long thread on Twitter about this, and I'll try and summarize it to the best of my ability, also from memory. But effectively, what they were saying was, okay, let's say in the state of Massachusetts, right? Um, there's a spike in vandalism for cars. Okay. Someone's car gets vandalized. What do? They file an insurance claim, right? Okay. The insurance company covers the cost to fix whatever needs to be fixed. And then what happens? What do we know that insurance companies do because they hate paying for anything? Well, they raise the rates. So now if you live in the state of Massachusetts, regardless of whether or not you actually drive a Tesla, your auto insurance rate is now going to increase, right? If you live in a state where there has been a spike in vandalism on automobiles, right? Because again, the other thing they do is they generalize information, right? I think they at least do it by county in Massachusetts because you have to fill out like where your county is when you um, apply for your car insurance. but so even better, right? Say it's Suffolk County, right? Which is where the city of Boston is. If in Suffolk County, right, there's in the 2025 calendar year, there is a 25% spike in automobile vandalism. Well, guess what? Every single individual that owns a car that lives in Suffolk County, your insurance premium just increased because that's what a car insurance, well, all insurance companies do is they paint with as broad of a fucking paintbrush stroke as they can. So they look at the numbers and they say, okay, statistically, you're this much more likely if you live in Suffolk County to have your car vandalized. Therefore, it's more of a risk for us. Therefore, you're going to pay us more money to cover that. So again, people being retarded and not understanding the second and third order of effects of what they do by damaging these cars, they just increase everyone's fucking car insurance rate.
And if anyone's listening from out of state, yes, you have to have car insurance in Massachusetts.
Yeah. So again, like that's throughout the country, right? If in Washington D.C., right, the District of Columbia, there's a spike in automobile vandalisms in this year. Guess what's going to increase in fiscal year 2026? Car insurance premiums for everyone in the District of Columbia, right? Everyone across the board because the insurance company doesn't give a shit. Now, may they behind the scenes maybe have on a Tesla tax, right? Like if you drive a Tesla, your insurance rate's going to be a little bit more expensive. Yeah, probably, right? Because they do that already, right? If you're under the age of, 21, your insurance is a little bit higher. If you're a male, your insurance is going to be higher than if you're a female, right? Like there are ways if you have a brand new car, your insurance is higher than if you have an old car, right? Like there are other factors that go into play. So yeah, if you own a Tesla, is your insurance going to go up? 100%. Like there's no question there. But it's not just the people that own the Teslas. It's everyone that lives in that district because like that's what you do. Like that's how you cover your risk is across like a larger population. So just another example of people being fucking retards.
That's the thing. People are losing their fucking minds.
Yeah,
It's getting bad.
it really is. It is. More so in this state, right? Like
Yeah,
again,
people don't know how to act. Because I've had to deal with this a little bit at work. Like one guy said, "Oh, well, the way Trump's running the country." I go, "Dude, we are not talking politics. I don't give a fuck what side you're on."
yeah.
I go,
Also,
"We are
like
not doing this. That,
what's
or you can just
what's
run a bunch of
changed?
laps." I go, "That, or you can run a bunch of laps around the building."
Yeah,
In like a couple weeks before that. Now he said that out loud in a group. So
right.
I'm like, "Nope, we are not
Yeah,
doing this."
yeah,
Now I was talking to him and he's just like, he goes, "Ah, I just don't like what's happening." I'm like, "What? All the efficiency stuff?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, I don't like the way that goes." I go, "All right." And he goes, and I'm struggling to figure out like who maybe should be coming next. I go, and at this point, it's just me and him. I go, "So what are the options?" He goes, "Well, I don't want AOC or Warren or Sanders." He goes, "They screech too much." He goes, I don't want." He goes, "I don't like those people." He goes, "Too much." And then he's like, "Yeah, there's like a fucking governor in Minnesota and like a fucking rep in Michigan or something. I don't fucking know."
yeah, yeah,
He's like, "Those are the ones I'd like to see," but I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, "Are they gonna earn everybody enough money?" He goes, "I don't know." I go,
yeah,
could be problematic.
yeah,
But like that's the thing. It's like he is emotionally, physically, mentally, whatever, affected by like what is happening by the government. And a different person she came in, she doesn't train with me, she trains with the other guy. So it was like, she's there. I text him, I go, hey man, are you coming? Like, she's already here. He's like, yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes. And then she goes, oh my God, I didn't realize what time it was. I go, what? She's like, she goes, I didn't realize it was 8:30. She goes, I thought it was like 9. I was like, okay, because I was gonna say, like, he's never late.
Yeah.
He's never late.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, it was weird because like this was a Tuesday. She's like, Sunday, I woke up at 5:40 in the morning, jumped in the shower, like getting ready for work. And then, my husband had to be like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm showering, getting ready for work. He goes, it's Sunday. And this person obviously is so this is the other thing is now because I don't talk to her much, but like I was saying, like, she lets the political landscape just like drive her life and she can't comprehend it. This is the same woman that uttered the words with during the 17-year-old who did the shooting during that trial was like, well, he brought the guns across state lines, so isn't he guilty of shooting those people or isn't he guilty of murder? And it's like, no, in the United States judicial system, no. If it's proven that he carried those guns over state lines, that's what he's guilty of.
Right.
The rest of it needs to go to court. Now,
Right.
whether you agree with the ruling or not, the ruling wasn't out at that point. No, you can't just change the judicial system based on what you want. That
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
And like she also said, and she's only like 62, so it's like she's older, but like not old.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she said, she was like, yeah, I was getting ready this morning, and I think like the hot and cold water in the house like flipped. It was like this morning, like the left faucet was hot and the right faucet was cold. And he's like, it wasn't like that like 2 days ago. And her husband looks at her or his husband looks at her husband looks at the other guy and goes, quite literally has always been that way. And I'm like, he's telling me this like after the fact. I go,
Yeah.
I've never been in a house where hot water was on the right.
Yeah.
It's always on the
It's
left
always on the
in
left.
every situation I've been in.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like these people are like they're losing their minds and they can't comprehend. Now that's a very extreme example, but
Yeah. Yeah.
right now, and I said this, and I maybe it was the same guy I said this to. I go, right now it's so easy to pick on the left because they don't know what to do right now. And it's like they're the ones who are losing their shit and not making any fucking sense. And like Republicans can just like lay in the weeds
Right.
because as long as they just sit there and shut up,
Yeah.
they really can't do too much wrong right now.
But also, again, I go back to how has your life actually changed? It hasn't.
Oh, it shouldn't be.
It hasn't.
It shouldn't be.
Right? Like, how does cutting the funding to a program that was studying like fucking monkeys eating toothpaste, right? Like I don't know, just trying to think of something random because that's actually how random some of these studies were, right? How does cutting government funding to a program that makes no sense, right, to keep it more general, affect your day-to-day life? It the answer is it doesn't. That's a pretty simple one, right?
Yeah,
So for these people to be all up in a tizzy, right? Because I just don't like the way this government efficiency program is run. They're cutting money from the government and all this. Like, well, have you looked into what they're actually cutting the money from? Because some of it, like to call it frivolous, it doesn't even do it justice, right? Like they were literally studying. I don't know. I'm literally making this up, but I don't think it's far off. Like how mice react to like chocolate. Does it give them cancer or something? You know what I mean? Like there's just they're spending hundreds of thousands to the tens of millions of dollars on insane shit. And it's like, I don't want my tax dollars going to that, right? Like, again, I always go back to, what Dan Holloway says is the government doesn't generate revenue. They take money, right? The government takes money from us. That's how they get money. They don't buy and sell things, right? The government is not a business. The government takes its money from the people and then it spends them in retarded ways, right? So it's like, okay, if you give them less money, they won't spend it on retarded shit. And then on the other hand, we get to keep more of our money, right? Like that's a win-win, right? You have a more efficient, more effective government, right? That doesn't do dumb shit. And then we get to keep more money. Like I'm to quote these people, I'm struggling to understand where that's an issue.
I was gonna say, and like, it's not. This is not what they're thinking. I go, my only problem with what's going on right now is I don't believe. Like, I actually think a lot of this government efficiency stuff is a bit of smoke and mirrors. Like, I think it's to get
Yeah,
rid of a handful of programs that are wasteful but also don't align.
I think some of it is robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? Like they're just moving money around. That's like, oh yeah,
What's the
we're
thing?
gonna
Because then
we're
it's
gonna pull the
like,
funding from all this stuff, but we're gonna increase our spending in these other areas, right? And it's like, well, guys, you're
well, never
you're
mind.
you're just like you're not lowering the deficit.
Yeah, like also though, like the whole Doge thing, like that costs money.
Yeah,
So you've added an expense there.
right, true.
Um, and again, I think it's just a bunch of smoke and mirrors to like get rid of some things that they don't like, but like use that as ammunition.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is like, what else has been cut? Doesn't seem like much,
Yeah.
but
The other thing too is people, obviously, this is like a no fucking shit sentence, but people get captured by ideology and fear, right? So they hear something like Trump wants to abolish the Department of Education, right? And what is the immediate response? Well, you can't fucking do that. What's going to happen to schools? Like you can't like schools. Oh, all right. Okay. All right. Let's like pause here. Let's try and take the emotion out of it, right? Like let's try and think critically about this.
that's a funny thought.
How many schools that you are aware of are federally run schools?
I mean, I would assume none, but I
I
don't know
can't think
that.
of any. I can't think of any federally run schools. I'm sure there's some, right? I'm sure the number's probably not zero, right? But and then they're like, oh, well, what about funding? Okay, schools don't receive federal funding, right? That's what other people fail to realize. North Attleboro High School doesn't receive a check from the federal government that says this is going to North Attleboro High School. No, the federal government cuts a check to the city of North Attleboro with the understanding that this money, right, and it may be earmarked, right? So then they're forced to only use it on education. But the city or the town receives money from the federal government to then conduct the business how the city wants, right? Which I guess even more so, it's probably not that. It's probably the federal government cuts a check to the state of Massachusetts. And then
Yeah,
the
it's
state of Massachusetts then disperses that money to every individual city. I guarantee you now that I'm thinking of it and I said it out loud, the state of the town of North Attleboro doesn't receive a check from the federal government because the federal government is not it again, it's this massive fucking overbloated thing, but yet they don't have the capability for a fact to issue a check to every single school district in the entire country, right? That's thousands of school districts. They're not doing that. They're cutting 50 checks, right? They're cutting one check to each state, and then it's up to the state to disperse that money from there to every township or city or village or what have you, right? Depending on the state that you live in. Um, so all these people that are freaking out, yeah, it sounds scary, right? Like I can sit here and be like, listen, it's well documented how much I hate the education system, right? But even with my pure unadulterated hatred for the way the education system is today, I can empathize that when people hear abolish the Department of Education, that sounds scary, right? Like that's kind of a big fucking deal. I get it. However, it's not that big of a deal, right? And people are like, "Oh, well these programs, they're going to lose funding and what about, special education and all this stuff?" And it's like there are ways to still fund those programs, right? Like I don't think you need a federal Department of Education in order to fund special education programs. Like I don't think those things are mutually exclusive, right? Like I think there's other ways around it, right? Or if you just want to change the way that the Department of Education works, call it something different, change its name, cut the program, do whatever. But like the fact, again, taking emotion out of it, is the Department of Education doesn't do anything, right? And statistically, right? Because numbers don't lie. They can be interpreted, right, to be manipulated, but the numbers themselves don't lie. The test scores, the average test scores in the country have decreased every year on the whole since the Department of Education was created in like 1972. So what are you saying? Right? Like if you don't want to abolish it, like are you okay with how it's been running? Because I'm certainly not. Right? Like something needs to change. If you want to get rid of it, call it something else, do something else, get rid of it altogether, right? Like the fact of the matter is something needs to change.
Well, the other funny thing is just a button on that. In Massachusetts, you want the federal Department of Education to go away because you do not want anything to compromise the education system that we have here because it is
Right.
good,
Right.
comparatively.
Yeah.
You don't want the fucking federal government stepping in.
No, not at all. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, not that I have all the answers either, because I'm sure someone would come up with something like obscure, right? Well, what about this one instance where there's this one program that services special needs kids after school? And it's like, all right, yeah, maybe that needs to be cut. And maybe that's terrible, right? But like maybe there are other ways to fund it. Why don't you figure that out? Right? Like instead of sitting here stomping your feet being like this is terrible, maybe come up with a solution. Right? Like I don't know. I just but I mean I get it, right? Like some of the stuff sounds scary, but it's not as scary as people are making it out to be. Because that's the other thing too. I mean, we talked about it before, right? When Trump was in the last time, how many abortions did he make illegal? Right? Where are all the women's rights? Like where's all the disappearing of women's rights? I'm still seeing people, right, that I follow on Instagram post like stories and all their shit like we stand with women and don't ever forget that women have rights and we need to always remember to stand up for women's rights and women matter and all this stuff and it's like uh, do you guys still think that he's gonna like repeal the 19th Amendment or something? Like, I don't understand.
I also don't know if it's from like a different state or I don't know because like I don't know what the story is elsewhere, but Massachusetts, people in Massachusetts have nothing to complain about.
Yeah, but they're the
I don't
ones doing
think.
all the complaining.
I don't think.
Because I mean,
Now,
those are all the
obviously
people that I follow.
I know what the argument there is. Yeah, well, you're a guy, so it doesn't matter. It's like, sure.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, fine. But again, there's been no like sweeping, like, we're going to make abortion legal everywhere and we're going to take away women's right to vote and women belong in the kitchen, right? And all this stuff. It's like there has been none of that. None of that. Yet these people are like, oh, we have to fight for women's rights. Well, I want to be like, who are you fighting against? Who's the fight against? Well, it's Trump. Oh, really? When did Trump say that he was going to take away women's rights? Well, he said this and that. Like, oh, when did he say that? When did all that happen? Is he actively trying to take away your rights right now? Well, it's this and it's implied and it's this and this. You know what I mean? Like that's the how the conversation would go. Like they would just be completely irrational because that's what they are. Is they're just irrational because they've been led to believe that like this one guy is going to completely change everything in the country. Never mind that I know we've talked about it before, but the real anger should be directed towards Congress because they're the ones that it's their job, quite literally their job, to make the laws. You know, I'm a bill, I'm a bill, I'm a bill.
We had a moment like that at work. One of the kids goes, "My father said that Trump can change time." I go, "He can what?" I go, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, like daylight savings or whatever." I go, "Dude," he's like, "Well, that's what my father said Trump can do it." I was like, "Your father probably said that so you would shut up." I go, I go, "Who knows their schoolhouse rock around here?" I go, "Pretty sure Congress has to do it."
Yeah,
But yes, the government in an extent could change the daylight savings rules.
they
But
created
no,
them.
Trump doesn't, he's not fucking Doctor Strange. He can't
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
can't change time. He doesn't have the
It's
fucking the green stone. Like
Oh man.
that was like a fucking fifth grader that said that, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the US government they invented daylight savings time. Like they could very easily just be like, yeah, we're not going to do it anymore. Or we're going to adopt permanent daylight
No,
savings
dude,
time. Like,
Trump's gonna move time around.
yeah, Trump's going to change time. That's fucking wild. I know you said
So
it's a fifth grader, so it's
yeah,
funny, but
so good.
yeah. Uh, um, I got one more thing and then we can wrap up here. This is actually like really fucking cool. I know we've been doing a lot of shit talking lately. But I saw the other day that in Japan, there have been scientists, neurologists, whatever you want to call them, surgeons, um, that have actually cured paralysis with stem cells, right? So for the longest time, like, yeah, we've talked about it in the past, how, AI and Neuralink, right? Like brain chips, they have the ability to, um, heal people that are paralyzed and allow them to use their limbs again, whether they're, paraplegic or quadriplegic or, help blind people see and all this stuff. Everyone's like, wow, Neuralink, like it's incredible. But again, it's a brain chip implant and it's this whole like crazy science thing. Yeah, well, it turns out people in Japan did it by using fucking stem cells, which is literally what we all have inside of us, right? You obviously have less of them as you age. Um, but babies and newborns and children have a really high number of stem cells. That's always why people keep the placenta, which for some weird reason, I don't know, I just get the heebie-jeebies for that. I get it. Like some people, you're into it. I know there's benefits to it. I get it. It's just not for me, right? Like they take the placenta after the birth and they freeze dry it and they turn it into fucking capsules and Yeah, I don't know, dude. Like, especially after being part of the childbirthing process, like, I'm good, man. Like, if you want to do that, all the power to you, right? I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, that's gross. No one should do it. But after going through it, I'm good, dude. I'm all set.
You save that for me? Thank.
Yeah, yeah. They asked us in the hospital. They're like, "Do you want us to keep the placenta?" And I was like, like, no, no, don't. Just get fucking rid of it. I don't want it. Like,
No, is there a buyer outside?
yeah. Yeah, it depends. Can I turn around and sell it on the black market? Like, fucking Christ, man. Um, yeah. So anyway, um, stem cells. They regenerated this person's spinal cord that was previously paralyzed, and now this person can walk. So it's like we talk about, like, again, all this high tech stuff and brain chips and this and that. Dude, turns out all you needed was fucking stem cells.
Well, I mean, the stem cells did make a second Shakey's Pizza right next to the Shakey's Pizza.
But I mean, it's just it's again, it goes back to people being dumb. It seems to be a common theme lately. Like, I think under the Bush administration, from 2000 to 2008, they banned stem cell research. It was illegal in this country. And it's like for the dumb for like religious reasons too, right? They're like, wow, it's you're playing God, you're doing this. It's like, yeah, but you're saying like we have the ability to like heal people from awful fucking diseases, right? And also injuries and paralysis, right? Like if I always kind of go back to are you familiar with I always forget his last name, but his first name's Derek. He's the more plates, more dates guy.
No.
Um he's quasi big in like the, I guess you call it, the underground fitness world. But he got his start being like who's natty and who's gas. Like he was able to like call people out for being on
I think
steroids.
I've seen that. I've seen those videos.
Yeah, so his Instagram or his social media, because I think he's across the board now, but his Instagram thing was more plates, more dates, right? Like that's his handle. He's a really cool guy. He's been on a lot of podcasts. I've followed him for a little while. Um, but he talks about how the steroid industry, right? Just the hormone industry has had such a setback in technological advancement ever since steroids were made illegal in the 80s, right? So as soon as they became illegal, they can no longer study them, right? They can't study it, they can't manipulate it, they can't develop new compounds that are safer, right? That are more efficacious, right? Whatever that word is, like more efficient, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Higher level of efficacy. You can't do that because it's illegal. So I kind of look at stem cells in a similar way, right? Like we know now that, you can have a torn cartilage, right, in a joint, whether it's your knee or your elbow or your shoulder. You can go get stem cell injections, and like 8 weeks later, there's no more tear. Like the tear just doesn't exist, right? Like it's been completely healed because that's quite literally what stem cells do, right? Like they fix shit. That's their only job. Um, but no, for so long, this country was like, yeah, God said no. So stem cell research is illegal. And I don't think it is anymore. But, for the time that it was and we weren't able to do any research with it, like, look at what Japan's done, right? Like, that's why, like, when Kobe Bryant tore his Achilles, he went over to Germany, to get stem cell treatment because it was legal in Germany. It was illegal in the United States. You have people that go into Mexico to get stem cell therapy and stuff like that. Like, again, I would say, as a fucking dum dum, if someone came to me and was like, "Hey, there's a process in which we can help paralyzed, paralyzed people walk again," I'd be like, "Oh, that seems pretty cool. We should probably do more of that." I don't know.
An idea.
Yeah, where you're just putting stuff that already exists, like we have them in our body. Our body produces stem cells versus a brain chip that needs to be surgically implanted in your brain. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm just a dum dum. On that note, you want to wrap this up?
We can wrap this up. So, in my golf course, for years, we've had issues with the kitchen and bar making money.
Yeah.
So, long story short, we used to do prepays. We used to prepay a certain amount every year, and you would just kind of tick it off as you went. And, I didn't really care. Like, I've never spent my minimum. Um, but just don't eat there frequently enough.
Yeah.
But whatever. So this year they kind of revamped everything. They hired a new person to run the place, hired a new cook, new chef, um,
Yes, chef.
and then overhauled the system. So now we have monthly minimums. So for the active seasons or for the active season, we pay like we have to spend like $62 in food. Food only, no drinks.
Right.
So you have to spend like $62 a month in food. And for March it was like 31 and for November it's like 31 because it won't be open for the full
Right.
month.
Right.
Which I think is a good idea because they've always struggled with the bar and the kitchen losing money and it doesn't need to gain. It doesn't need to earn, but it kind of can't be losing.
Right.
Because if it
Right.
loses too much, then it's just us paying for it again.
Yeah.
Like there's no owner. It's member owned. Like if they need money, it has to come from us. That's it.
Right. Right.
So I think it's a good idea to go monthly, and to take booze off of that. So, because all these guys that drink, they're gonna drink anyway, and they're gonna pay
Right.
for it. Like
Right.
that was always a huge mistake. And so I'm a fan, whatever. Um, so I went in there Friday. Obviously, tomorrow's the last day of the month and the kitchen and bar ain't open. So it's like, it didn't hit my minimum. It doesn't matter. So I spent like 23, $24. They can bill me for 7, $8, whatever it
Yeah.
is. It doesn't matter. But of course, change,
Yep.
as is always great. You would think that the way I sent it to you guys was you would think that these people are asking to do calculus in Russian. The way that some of these questions and comments and everything, and it's just like it's just so funny. It's not a hard system to comprehend, but it's different.
Yeah.
And it forces people to do things that they don't want to do because it doesn't benefit them, it benefits the club, it benefits the kitchen and the bar.
Right.
Like, yeah, you got to order food. You can't just use your 4 to 600 bucks on alcohol
Right.
and like have that cover the year. Like that doesn't work.
Right.
And the other piece too is it's just really funny like watching people just trying to figure out the math and trying to like do all this and cheaping out on everything, like trying to just spend to the dollar. And the snob used to talk about this before we got doxxed. Those people always know their minimum balance and they're always trying to spend to the dime.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's always at the very beginning of the month they get it over with, or at the end of the month they need to match it, whatever.
Right.
And it's just like sitting there, I'm like, this is disgusting to like listen to. Like this is really stupid. And the dumbest one out of them all was guy was picking up food and him and his wife are both members. They both have to spend 31, 32 bucks, whatever. It doesn't matter. So they order something. He goes, "Oh, I need to split that um because one's for my wife." It's like, okay. Goes, "Okay, so you have 17 bucks left and she has 16 bucks left." They go, "Okay." And then the bartender comes over and goes, "Why did he make me do that?" He goes, "They're husband and wife." He goes, Like, unless they like have different." I'm like, because I'm like, maybe they have different bank accounts. I don't know, but
Yeah.
they're husband and wife. So it's like you could have knocked out one on that order and then just knocked out the other one on the other order. Like,
Right.
or you weren't gonna, I don't know. It like makes no sense. And it's like, I don't know if people 100, I still don't think people 100% comprehend it.
No, I don't. I don't think they do.
And thought I feel really bad for our admin because she's gonna get some stupid fucking questions come whatever day
If
because
you don't spend, do they just bill you the rest of like the
yeah, so I think
remainder?
what's gonna happen is I will see a charge on April 1 for like 7 or 8 bucks
Yeah.
for like unused minimum or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
Whatever.
think what a lot of people, I feel bad for her because I think what a lot of people were doing was they were like, it's like, okay, yeah, your bill's like 40 bucks. It's like, oh, okay, cool, just put it on my account. And it's like, okay. And then they tip in cash. So it's like the server gets tipped, but you still have to pay the 40 bucks because it's not a prepaid anymore.
Right.
Like we didn't prepay anything. So I think people are gonna get a little confused on that.
Yeah.
So she's probably gonna be ready to shoot herself on Tuesday. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's funny, man, because it's just like anytime you change anything, people just like refuse or can't comprehend. I'm like, it's a very simple process.
Yeah.
I just kind of happened to forget that I needed to spend my money, so I
It
didn't.
kind of it's a in a way it's a win-win, right? Because it's supporting the kitchen better, right? Because you're removing the alcohol from that and it's supporting you guys because you're not paying $600 up front to then potentially not use it.
Which I never used mine. So yeah, it's like so I'll make out great in this deal
Yeah.
because um
Because like
well if I
what's a
used
sandwich? 15 bucks?
yeah ish.
Like if you get one sandwich a week, that covers your 60 bucks for the month.
Yeah. That's the thing is I just got to
Like,
remember to go.
yeah.
Like that's the thing I don't go.
Yeah.
And I will say sometimes I'm there too early. That's actually my biggest problem is
Yeah.
I'm there and gone before they open.
Yeah.
That's why I don't spend my minimum. I would,
Right.
but I have to because I just have to consciously make the effort to go and to spend and whatever.
Right.
Because I mean, yeah, it's gonna be what's an active season? April, May, June, July, August, September, October. That's 7 months. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna spend way less than 600 bucks this year. Or I mean, I'll end up spending more probably, but
Yeah.
like my requirement is less.
Right. Yeah. You'll
But thus I
save.
will. That's the thing, my requirement's less, but then I will end up spending more.
Yeah.
Because that's my other piece is because of the weather and when I play and the place not being open, like I don't eat there in April, May, or October.
Right. Right.
So now I either have to or they're billing me anyway.
Right. Right.
But yeah, it's a very, very simple system.
Yeah, and again, at the end of the day, it's good for the club. And I mean, I said this to you too, like the people that are like bitching about it and freaking out, right? And I was like, you have multi-thousand-dollar-year commitment, right? Like golf memberships are not cheap, right? They're not $200, right? They're anyway, depending on the course, right? Like I have no idea what you guys pay, but most places are somewhere between, on average, I think probably what between three and $12,000 a year, depending on the course. I think that's probably average for Massachusetts. I know obviously there are courses that are like 20 grand plus, but then you get like that's goofy. Um, and I know there are some places that have memberships for like less than 1,000, but again, that's just like
Look at a semi-private.
that's a
For like a
semi-private
full
place.
private course.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if you're quite like yeah, probably I would say the it's probably like three is probably the bottom end.
yeah,
I would say probably 12 would be like the average high, and then
yeah.
some of these other places are like way higher than that, but
Right,
that's
right.
it's more complicated at that rate.
Yeah, but like I said, I say that 3 to 12 range is probably what you're going to be looking at in most places. So like again, you come into this course, right? You pay for a private golf membership in the thousands of dollar range, and you're going to complain about a monthly minimum of $60 a month to spend on food, right? Especially where you said it's member owned. Like,
But the thing is, if the kitchen and bar takes a loss, it's our money, or
right,
it's like you're just spinning it all around itself.
right, right.
And what we're paying, our minimums, that's a joke.
Yeah,
Like some of these places are like 100
yeah,
a month.
yeah. So,
Now, the only thing though I will say is the like if they keep upping and upping and upping, then the food's gonna have to match pretty soon. Because that's the thing. It's like some of these places have like legitimate dining rooms.
right.
I've never seen anyone sit in our dining area. And it's like, they've got like dress rules about the dining room and you have to make reservations and like stuff like that. So it's like if we're not gonna be that, then you can't ask us to do the same.
Right, right.
But yeah, it's also less about the specifics and more about it's just funny with anytime anything changes,
Oh
just
yeah.
like
Yeah.
how the comprehension seems to go out the fucking window.
Yeah. Yeah. People are like, oh no, I can't do that.
It's like even when we change software at the gym, it's like, okay, so do I have to do that? Whatever. I go, you don't have to do anything differently.
Yeah.
Just give me your credit card again.
Yeah.
And I promise you it's all the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, so my final thought is food related. So this came up when you sent me something on Instagram about it was like a March Madness bracket for uh you know cold cuts, right? So or hams, different cured hams or whatever.
I think it
So I
was
can't,
all meats, but it was
yeah, mostly
mostly
hams.
cold cuts and whatnot.
So I came up with the thought, right, that ham is best when it's not actually ham.
So I saw you put that in there. I don't know if you saw my little
I
note.
did, yeah, yeah.
So, because that's part of it. I forget I don't even know if I can pull up what I sent you,
Yeah, I mean
but
it's all pig,
yeah, so
right?
it's
So
mostly pig.
effectively the list was like prosciutto, speck, bacon, pancetta, guanciale, um, what else was on that list? I think salami was in there. So like that's a cold cut, like that's whatever, right? But like it was there were some cold cuts, but it was a lot of again the prosciutto, speck, bacon, pancetta, guanciale, right? Like
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I've got it here.
it's
So
all
like
it's all pig.
and that's the thing. Out of the 16, I think I don't know what one thing was. Two of those things were beef. Meatballs were in there. Um, but yeah, so I mean, the only thing though is the only like so when it comes to like ham, Italian ham can come one of two ways. So you have a cooked ham, prosciutto cotto, which is what we have here. Like
Yeah.
If you go give me a ham and cheese, that's like a cooked ham.
Yeah.
Usually it's baked, whatever. Like what we call prosciutto over there is prosciutto crudo, raw, because it's cured.
Right.
And yes, those are both like the hind, and they're both hams effectively. Um, Speck is a smoked prosciutto. So that's the thing. That's the only like hams though. Because the rest of it, like guanciale is a cheek,
The cheek. Yeah.
bacon,
Is
pancetta,
the
that's the
underbelly.
belly.
Yeah.
I mean, mortadella is basically bologna.
I hate bologna.
Salsicha or sausage. I'm sorry, that's what I'm reading the post. Sausage is sausage. I mean, porchetta is the belly cooked differently.
Right.
Sopressata is a salami.
Yep.
I don't know why those are separate.
Different
Uh,
spices that they cure it with. Isn't
yeah. So
sopressata
the
more
thing though
like
is, I think,
paprika? Like salami doesn't have paprika.
well, but so this is the thing though. I think it's about matter of your own definition because over there, I think they're also, I think like, so over there, I think salami is the overbearing
Yeah.
category.
Yeah.
But here, it just depends on what specific product you're buying. Like,
Right.
because a sopressata is a salami,
Yes.
but it's
Yeah.
not like a Genoa salami,
Right.
which is not a Calabrian salami,
Which is not a Milano salami.
which is not a Tuscan salami. Like, so it's all like
Yeah.
varieties.
Yeah.
And then like sopressata, I think is what, like, it's usually like sopressata is what you consider salami, and then like a hot sopressata is like close to a pepperoni, but more of a hot salami.
Right. Right.
I mean, brajol
That's beef.
that's cooked beef.
Yeah.
Brazola is a cured beef, which I've actually had, and I have no clue what a spadini is.
Yeah.
Spiadini.
I mean, capicola is basically some more
Capicola is like
salami.
yeah, yeah, I think. I think it's a salami.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what makes capicola different
I think it's
than
shittier salami because there's more fat in it. Like capicola is
the
very
meat's kind
fatty.
of different though.
Yeah.
Copa neck and shoulder. Yeah,
No.
okay. So it's just not ground up.
Oh, okay.
It is a so that there you are again. Like it's a salami, but it's one cut, not a ground up mixture,
Right.
which would be what you're kind of thinking. Or so that would if they're both salamis, that's what would separate it from a soppressata.
Right. Right. So, yeah, I mean,
But I mean,
some,
so in terms of like, so yeah, that's why like in the ham thing, well, only three of those are hams. But if you're talking about pork products, then yeah, I mean, ham's pretty low on the pretty
on
low
the,
on the list.
yeah, yeah,
But then it's like also then we're talking about like yeah, cold cuts versus cuts because that's the other thing is like in that it because that ranking was also weird because a lot of it was cured stuff, but then they mix in like um meatballs, brajol, and porchetta. Like
yeah,
what? This doesn't really make a lot of sense.
yeah. So ham is still best when it's not ham.
Yeah, I was gonna, and it's almost that time of year where it's like, oh, like because I said this the other day at work. I think the Greeks do Easter best. They're like, well, what? I go, well, they do like lamb roast. So I'm like, they just know what they're doing. It's like, what? You don't want ham at Easter? No,
Oh
never
my
once in my
gosh.
life have I had ham at Easter.
Yeah,
Never once.
yeah,
And no, I don't want that.
yeah. Oh, you don't like ham? Oh, dude, I mean, it's better than
No.
turkey, but it
Like,
still
oh, have you ever had like
sucks.
a really good one? It's like, well, have you ever had a really good prime rib?
Yeah, right. Yeah. We did that. What did we come up with? Lamb is Easter, prime rib is Christmas. Do we when porchetta is Thanksgiving, right? Is that what we assigned?
I think we said that like that would like we'll never be able to break that tradition, but that's what kind of
Yeah.
where I feel like it should be.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I got a rack of lamb ribs for Easter. So I'm bought in. I'm all in on that shit, right? Like I've always been that way. I know you have too. Like it's just why? Wow, you always have ham on Easter. Well, that doesn't mean
Well,
anything. It
so a couple
sucks.
things. One, I've never had ham on Easter.
Yeah.
I've never been served ham for like a meal. Never.
Yeah.
Not once in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when they say when
I'm
people
good with
say
the
that, they're
ham. I'm
like,
good with the turkey. Like just keep it. I just don't care. They're better options, right?
that's my
So,
only point. It's my only point.
yeah. Yeah.
And then when they're like, well, if you know what you're doing, I'm like, well, I do. And well, actually, I wouldn't know how to cook a ham. I no clue, but
Yeah.
I know how to cook a turkey. And it's like, again, you can't tell me that a fried turkey is better than a porchetta. It's just not.
No, it's
So,
not.
and I will not have that argument. And you can't tell me that fried duck is worse than a fried turkey because it is not.
Yeah. Oh, that's true too. Duck. I forgot we did duck on Christmas. Yeah. You got a weasel duck in there too.
We'll just do what I did. I did duck and porchetta for Thanksgiving. I did a
Yeah.
prime rib, or I would do prime rib for Christmas, and then lamb for
Yeah. There it is. There you go.
Easter. Done.
There's your
Or we just cook a
solution.
bunch of Italian shit for Easter. It don't matter.
Yeah.
Chinese, get
Whatever.
Chinese food. That's what I did for a long time.
All right. So that's going to do it. So thanks for watching. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit subscribe up above, hit the thumbs up down below. Subscribe if you're an audio only guy. Leave us a review on Spotify and iTunes. Instagram is Sarcasm Speaks Pod. Twitter is Sarcasm_speaks. Facebook is Sarcasm Speaks. Check out the show notes below in the description. Support the sponsors, support us, and until next time, good night, everybody.